Hello, I'm Ari, and this is part 2. In this video, we will be doing some skin tone swatching, and then we'll get to a portrait using some of these colors. And then with the addition of a castle black, which is kind of a black, brown, grayish color, sort of. Anyway, so the first minute or so will be just the ending footage from the other video, just saying that I lost that footage just in case this is the video you're starting with, and you can see the swatch chart. All right, let's get into it. Thanks for watching. All right, so that was a little frustrating. My camera died at just before we got the ultramarine and Prussian. So as you can see, I went on to swatch more skin tones, and all of that footage didn't record because my battery died. So that is frustrating. So this is our whole chart. I think what I might do is just show you maybe some quick blending, especially the colors that I think you really is helpful to know. So I think for dark skin tones, burnt sienna, black comes in so many beautiful shades, and burnt sienna and Prussian blue. Then we can take that color and lighten it. And mid-tone it. And really lighten it. So this is Prussian blue and burnt sienna. Just want to make that clear. So now what if I take a little bit more blue and add it in? I kind of get a more green-gray. So when you're playing like this, you honestly don't know, you have to play around with your palette. You have to get to know your colors, because not all the time will your colors. Then what if we add some red to this? See, I added too much. I don't necessarily know what colors I'm going to create with the mixes. So that's a more purple. And again, that was a deeper shade of a more blue Prussian and burnt sienna. Now another way to get there of course, that red is so potent, you do not need a lot of red. In fact, I'm going to scooch some of this over here. So to my orange, I'm adding some Prussian blue, and that's just going to give us kind of a green. A green brown. So to orange, I moved in the Prussian, but it's too green, so I want to bring it back with a little red. Oh, I kind of splashed all over that. As you can see, as we keep mixing, we come up with more and more colors. Now that was taking our orange with, I forgot what we added to that, but adding whatever we added a little blue to get the green, and then I added some raw umber to that. And then we can just keep adding raw umber. But then if we want to take it up a notch. Oh, that went really green. I'm going to put it on here though, because that might make a really nice base coat. But how do we go back the other way? Red and green. So that one's too red. And now that we took care of the important colors, and just think, all of these can be lightened or darkened. And if you had a black, I'm going to take my Castle Earth. I feel like we're not moving enough. So note, by adding in that little bit of black, or Castle Earth, it's kind of a gray. So that's Castle Earth, little Prussian, and some burnt or raw umber. So again, this is not a complete, if we could sit here all day and mix colors and not come up, I mean, some of these look similar, but mainly it's because I'd either gob too much red or too much blue. And so with just with an 8-piece set, we can get some of these darker darks by adding in like a castle earth, which is what I used. You could also do like an ivory black or lamp black. So with 8 colors, one being a dark gray or black, you can come up with a lot of the dark skin tones, and that is great and allows diversity in your work, because with your red and white, you can, I mean, with just your red, and technically you could make a lot of these colors if you, let's say you're on a budget. If you just have red, I'd go with the Prussian blue, red Prussian blue, and a yellow, like either Hansa or Brilliant or Azo. With those 3 colors and then a raw umber, you could get away with a lot of these colors. So if you're on a limited budget, that's what I would recommend. So with this tin yellow and the red, you can make peach. I don't know about you, but I don't know a whole lot of peach people. And that's adding a little of the, I think it was the raw. Maybe not. That was the burnt sienna. So no matter what the skin tone, what the complexion, what you want to do is, so if there's light being cast upon the face, what colors do you see? Is it blue? Is it red? Does their face have a red undertone? Does it have a green undertone? Does it have a blue undertone? A purple undertone? What are the dark areas in the shadow? What colors are you seeing in the shadows of the face? So, and that's the only color I guess we don't have a lot of that I didn't. It's kind of coming with a purple. I'm muting it with brown. But think of shadow colors. You kind of want some purples, some of these darker greens. You may just want a little more yellow for highlights. All right. So remember, then every one of these colors you can lighten and darken. So to lighten any color that you like, that you make, you just add water and you get a lighter shade. To darken it, you have to kind of use a little bit of color theory. And I know color theory sounds scary. But basically what it is knowing that yellow, blue, and red are your primary colors. And with all of those colors mixed together, you kind of get a brown black. If you mix yellow and red, you get an orange, which all you have to do for an orange is water that down. So here we get, there's our orange. Let's see, we can get, and then again, add a little brown to that, you get another shade. So basically it's knowing that if you have yellow and red, it's going to make orange. And what's the complementary color? What's the color that will make yellow and orange brown? Or make orange brown. So yellow and red mixed together makes orange. Now what's the complementary, the color on the opposite side of the wheel of orange? And that's blue. So when we have orange, we take a little blue. If you take it too much, you get a little green. So then green and red make brown. And I know that because they're on the opposite side of the wheel from each other. But even if you don't want to understand color theory, but you want to mix your own skin tones rather than depending on a company to mix your colors for you, then it's just best to play around. So when you play around, let's peel this because we can. So whatever colors you have, let's say you have some primary colors at home, just red, yellow, and blue. Doesn't matter what shades of, you don't have to know any of that. Take your red, yellow, and blue, and if you happen to have burnt sienna, grab that as well, and a brown. So there's no need for colors like portrait pink, because you can make, as long as you have the primary colors, so there is our 8-color chart. You didn't get to see me make these skin tones, so I did these swatchings for you. I was sad that my battery died. So the best thing you can do, let's say if you have this yellow, this red, this blue, you have a raw umber and a burnt sienna. If you just have those 5 colors, you can make all of these colors in the middle. So there is your chart. If you just had one red, one blue, one yellow, red, burnt sienna, raw umber, and blue. Now this should be a lot brighter. I'm not sure why it is so muted. But with this, even if you didn't know how to mix any other colors, you have some dark skin tones here, some lighter, like Asian skin tones. You have your whites. You could make a really light pink, but with this you could add in more blue and get a darker. So if you have those 5 colors and a black, you could do a lot. Just having 2 more colors, well, in this case 3 more colors, we were able to get a few more colors. So this lighter area is light skin tones here, here, and then these are just using these colors in this chart to get these colors. And same here, just a little bit. Oh, except for we added Castle Earth for some of those deeper tones. But like an ivory black would work as well. Because this color right here is what portrait pink is. I don't know about you, like maybe my fingertips are portrait pink, but I have a red to my skin, and I'm really pale. We always say my people are clear people because I'm very, very pale. And I don't know if you can tell by my skin on camera, but I'm very pale. So no, just with limited colors, you can make tons of skin colors. And you need several colors to add highlights and shadow on a face. And you have to really look at the faces in order to understand what colors are present. People aren't just one, you know, you can't just paint somebody this color. It's not going to look right. That might be your base color, but it's not going to be your only color on a face. And so if you want your picture to have depth, you need to go with a light, a medium, and a dark in whatever grade skin complexion you're going for. So in a lighter one, you might want a white and then something a little bit more pinkish and maybe to the blue or purple. In a darker skin tone, you may want something like this is a light one, this is a medium, and this is a dark. So the best thing, I mean, so for these, we just played around. We just mixed colors, and knowing red and green make brown, if your color is looking to blue, you add red or yellow. And if it's looking to red, you add yellow or blue or green. So yellow and blue mixed, or a little of each until it's the color you want it to be. It really can be as simple as that. And I know when you're first starting out, it doesn't seem simple, but what I want you to do is just practice that. Get out a red, yellow, blue, a burnt sienna, and a raw umber and play. And if you can just remember red and green make brown, and then experiment with it. See what happens to the brown, add more red to it, and just play around and see what happens. Let me know in the comments if you get to some skin tone play. And, tag me on Instagram at Shamelessly Creative or hashtag Shamelessly Creative and show me your work. Let me know. Let me know what colors you make and if you're able to make skin tones you really like, or let me know if this was too hard to follow. I know I probably didn't go into enough detail, but I will be doing this again and again because I do faces on this channel. And you can definitely leave a comment and tell me if you want more specific, something more detailed, and we can see about making a video. So skin tone mixing, you're going to see a lot here, whether it's with an art box, So I believe with the gouache set from Scrawler Box in November, I think I did a whole bunch of color mixing with that set, but I'm not sure if it's on the film roll anymore. So, but usually if I get primaries in an art box, an art subscription box, I make skin tones because I like playing around and seeing what the material can do. And this works for all mediums. So whether you're into watercolor, acrylics, oils, this is what you need to know to mix your own colors. And I think there's something liberating about mixing your own colors, because when somebody else decides for you, you can have very muddy and opaque colors. With this, you can keep them a little bit more vibrant. I think the hardest part for me learning skin tones was, let's say I made this pile of brown. When that runs out, what do? I have no idea what colors are in this blob. So I'm not able to recreate that color. And I think that's where the struggle is for most people. Because, you know, if you have a full pan of skin tone, what do you need to know? Like, you just go back and you have that color. So that is the benefit of having ready-made colors. However, I've found I've gotten, the better I get at mixing skin tones, the better I am able to know, especially if I don't have 12 different colors on my palette at one time. That's why I usually have a clean palette. I say that, but then here's my M. Graham palette. And see, I use 2 paints and I fill just a little bit so I can mix here, but I have other colors on the go. But with this one, I'm using the cover to this palette. This is the Mission Gold 24 Airtight palette. It's big. It's 9 by 12. So it's a big palette. And I can't wait for my new studio desk, because I have a 5-foot desk, but half the desk ends up cluttered with stuff for the video, and I end up working in this little window right here that you see. Today we use the poems About You. Let's get to painting. So I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, I will, as I said, I will do this again and again, because I think making diverse skin tones is very important. If you look at my sketchbox video that will be up soon, I've been using these pictures I drew in my sketchbook as a starting point to try different mediums, to try the same picture but with different mediums. And so I think that would be kind of a fun one to do. And I always have scraps around so I can test out colors. I'm debating whether to clean this off or not. So for you as well, this is a great idea. Is do a drawing, and when you have one you like, make several copies of it. Because then you have your drawing and you can just practice your watercolors. So now I need it darker. So I'll add some Castle Earth because that's what I have. Yeah, for me it takes, the drawing portion of the art always takes longer than I sometimes have. Now I kind of went in quickly with these, so I really should have let some of this dry. So this is where having a darker black would come in handy. Or I started to say, so you know, when you're new to art, painting the same thing over and over again can be really helpful. Because what I think will be interesting is as my skills grow, as I said, I'm not an expert. I had art classes in college. I used all my spare time as a kid to paint and draw. I dabbled in my life, but I'm definitely not an expert. I study a lot. I'm very, very well read, but I don't have a degree in art. I wanted one, but I was encouraged not to. And it probably shows, but this is what happens when you ignore your art for too many years. You start all over. This is our portrait for today using the Poems About You watercolors. We just stuck to, I don't think I used that at all. These were the main colors I used today. It's our watercolor chart with the addition that I didn't get filmed of the first set of skin colors. And then we made this secondary set on film. So today we did the portrait using the Poems About You watercolors. We just used, well, on this picture I just used the Brilliant Yellow, French Raw Umber, Burnt Sienna, Vermilion, Prussian Blue, and a little Castle Earth. I didn't really use the Ultramarine Blue or the Lead Tin Yellow, but I did use that to mix the skin tones. And remember, for some of these darker tones we added in the Castle Earth. But again, you can get pretty far with burnt umber, yellow, red, and blue. You can make most skin tones, but having that darker one, you can get some of the darker hues. We didn't take her very dark. I guess I could have gone much darker. So again, here's our swatching from today. We swatched out all those colors, and if you just remember when you're swatching to make a row of your main colors and label and remember how this will help you, even because there's so many colors in between two colors. If you know you want something a little darker than this, you know if you mix Burnt Sienna and Prussian, you can use those two colors to tweak this color. If I was wanting a gray blue, then I know I need Prussian and French umber. If I want to go for the more orange tones, I could get anywhere between here and here with those two colors, with the yellow and the red. So remember, there's a reason to test out your colors and make a 50-50, because then if you're doing a 1/4 and 3/4 or a 40-60, you're able to find the color kind of in between. So that's why we try for like a 50-50 balance on those. But just remember, it's not limited to that. You can do a 40-60, and that's how you find your colors in between. Or you can water down a color you already like. You can water it down, make a lighter version. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed today's content. We swatched out these colors, we practiced some skin tones, and we made a portrait. So again, I'm working on these portraits with different mediums, different colors, and for me, I think that's a great way to practice your skills using the same image. See how different you can make the same image. So here's one image, but here's that same image using a different medium. Same girl, different look. So I'm going to be trying this in several different, you'll see her pop up in other videos, because as I go, You'll see her popping up in several videos because I plan to do this portrait over and over again until it gets to be where I'm happy with it. To try different mediums with the same face and see how they work. How do they differ? What could I do differently? How can I make it better? So for me personally, I don't think it's a bad idea to, if you find a sketch that you've made that you really love, then just copy it with either a light box or a window, darken the lines, put a new piece of paper over it, and you can start all over again. And keep practicing improving different parts, try different shading, try different colors, try different mediums, try doing this face in acrylic, try doing it in markers, try doing it in graphite. Keep working on it. I don't know, maybe it'll get boring, but I'm really interested. My goal is compare them all whenever. I don't know how many I'll do or how many different mediums, but I'll definitely share the results when I get them all done. This is the second one I've done this week, actually. I tried it with the supplies in one of the art subscription boxes, and now this one with the Poems About You watercolors. I really am enjoying her colors. I think they are a lot of fun. And of course, this is only 7 colors. And I think I have 33 of her colors, but a lot of them are blacks and grays. So just know you'll see some more of this and me trying out other watercolors. So it's kind of like if every morning you get up and you draw a face or a bunny or whatever, you'll get better at it. And when you're testing out new supplies, having one thing that you know how to paint well makes it a little bit easier to test out those supplies. So that's just a tip I have for you. I don't know if you'll find it handy or not, but I'm liking it. I'm liking being able to have the same face and try different mediums. Because the other side of that is to see which one I'm more comfortable using. Which one do I feel like I shine at? By doing the same face, even if it changes, what medium do I really enjoy the most? And I'm still in my journey of figuring that out. I definitely lean towards watercolors. I definitely lean towards graphite and color pencil, but I haven't even tried this with color pencil yet. And so that'll probably be one of my next attempts, is trying color pencil and seeing how well it turns out. But for now, I'm pretty happy with how this picture turned out today. And for me, testing out watercolor supplies, making faces, seems to be, it's my comfort zone. Thus, when I'm trying out a medium that I'm not sure about, keeping the subject matter something I like to do helps me focus on what the art supplies are doing and how they work together. I used the bee paper. I'm not overly thrilled with this. And I did, blob on the paper several times where it was still wet. I hope you enjoyed today's content. I thank you for watching. Please leave any comments or questions or thoughts below. I would love to hear from you. And I look forward to doing more with these Poems About You watercolors. So far, I'm really impressed with her colors and how they go on the paper. They were really easy to work with. The paper gave me a little bit more problem than the watercolors. Overall, I'm really happy with my purchase, and I hope this gives you a little bit more insight into the Poems About You watercolors. Poems About You, the shop owner is Lena, and she's out of Washington, D.C. She's on Instagram at Poems About Me and hashtag Poems About You watercolors. She has mineral watercolors, earth colors. She did have some shimmer paints. You can buy individuals or sets. I bought some of both. So she makes handmade natural watercolors with historical palettes, like the Rembrandt set. Look for more Poems About You or Poems About Me on Instagram watercolors, because I'll be pulling them out and using them pretty regularly. As I said, I really enjoyed using them today. Thank you for watching. I'm Ari, this is Shamelessly Creative, and we got creative with the Poems About You watercolors in the 7 colors plus Castle Earth. I hope you'll use your watercolors, whatever you have around home, because as long as you have a yellow, a red, and a blue, you should be able to make skin tones. If you add in the burnt sienna or raw umber, you'll definitely get a wider range, and if you add a black to that, if you add a burnt sienna or ultramarine or raw umber, you'll get a further palette for skin tones. But remember, like rainbow faces, you can add different colors in the skin tone. I pretty much stayed to a brown skin tone today, and I like how she turned out. I'm still practicing with the whole hair thing, which reminds me. Now I hope you'll go get creative. Bye. Have a great day.